So the stock market continues to climb. We've had 25 record closes this year alone on the S&P 500. And we're up over 30% since the April tariff low. Normally at this stage though, you'd expect greed and mania and stupid headlines and complacency. We're not seeing much of that though, are we? Today I'm going to break down the charts, some technical analysis. I'm going to also talk about the bullish and bearish cases and what's actually happening under the hood that may be either propping it up or telling us some warning signs. So if you're new around here, please do leave a like, subscribe and comment what you think. Do you think the market is looking a little bit toppy? So on the screen, as you can see, this is the S&P 500, the US 500 chart, and we are at all-time highs on the weekly time frame. Momentum across this entire chart is pretty mental. And that's the thing, like, we just keep chugging up. Even from this low here, we are up a decent chunk. But where do we go? That's the thing. It is very, very hard to kind of see where we do actually go here because there's no real basis number. There's no real area we can look at. There's no real kind of bearish divergences that we can look at. There's no situation where it's quite obvious, which is kind of annoying. But let's look at some other charts. So this is the SPX chart in much bigger form. I had a smaller version before. But the only thing I can look at realistically is this basically where we nosedive post-COVID to where we are today. And that's the only thing I can really look at. There's other situations you can look at much higher time frames in terms of yearly charts and stuff. I don't want to go that deep, but we've got some really interesting levels here. And that's as far as we're going to go. But the thing is, when does this turn around? When does this stop cooking? There's always going to be corrections here, but not all the time. And we've also got the US tech, which is obviously the NASDAQ. So again, similar sort of situations. We could look at certain vibes and certain corrections and how we've kind of pulled back at this point and where we're going to potentially go. And yeah, there's extension levels up here, 27,000 points. But that's possibly, yes, of course it can. But what happens if we get there and we do turn around? It could be quite meaty. But other things we've got to make note of is gold. Where does gold go from here? I've already kind of done this from like a much longer base level. And more often than not, you probably argue, yeah, extension levels, cool. Are we going to go and correct to this one and use as level support? Or are we going to go up to here? Crazy price action here for gold, considering we had a 3-year period of doing nothing. And the VIX is, you could argue, I wouldn't say complacency, but it's kind of at the compliant levels. It's low volatility in and around those kind of average levels. It's not throwing the baby out the bathwater, essentially. It's looking okay, but for me, fundamentals, realistically, the trend is bullish. Momentum is still intact, but there could be some signs for caution longer term. But before we talk about the cautious side of it, I want to take the obvious route. Let's go bullish. Let's talk about the bull case. Earnings. I don't have to go much further than this 39-page document other than the first page to show the key metrics. 82% of the S&P 500 companies have reported a positive EPS surprise, and 79% of the companies have reported positive revenue surprise. That's good. Right? Bullish. Yeah. Now, as well, you could argue earnings growth. You can see here 10.3%. That's pretty damn good, realistically. And then you can argue revisions. That is also 9 sectors reporting higher earnings today compared to June. And this is only from not too long ago. And we are much higher from that point. So everything's looking relatively good. Other things you can also talk about is obviously the valuation at the bottom there. The average, it's above the average, it's fine. No dramas. There's no real issues according to this data, which is absolutely mental when it comes to earnings. You've also got other side of it as well. The AI and technology leadership element and the record profitability there. That is also an industry that's getting bigger and bigger. Nvidia, for example, doing really well in that front. But, as I say, the bull case and the bull case only, regardless of earnings, regarding momentum, regarding of everything else, structure is key. Higher highs, higher lows, definition of a bullish trend, considerably obvious here. But we also need to talk about the bear side of it. And I'm sorry for anyone who's permeable, but there's always going to be cyclical periods and people will sell off and people will take profits. But the valuations here are relatively stretched. This is the Shiller PE ratio. Now, I don't fully get my head around this, but there's always a pattern. The pattern is when it's high, it's time to basically sell. On average, long term, it's usually 17. Right now, we're at the 40s. Okay, The reason why I say that is because this is where the Great Depression was, and this is where the dot-com bubble was. Bit of an awkward situation. You could argue the other way around when it came to the credit crunch and that financial crash. Let's not talk about that. But you get the idea, right? So that could be something to keep an eye on. Now, in my viewpoint, the most obvious bearish case is the fact of what the accumulated weight is of these charts. Essentially, the concentration of the top 10 is quite tech heavy, long story short. And you got some obvious ones there. For example, Nvidia is absolutely the obvious one right now. It never used to be, but now all of a sudden it is. And you can see the weight of it. Overall, the top 10 here, in terms of weight, is a decent chunk. So that was one thing. So if say technology gets a bit ropey and goes the wrong way, these are going to fall pretty drastically. But again, flipping the obvious in the room, yes, the trend is your friend until it's not. And often you find that when the market looks like this, it's overvalued, people are less likely to buy and more likely people will take some profit off the table here. Look at how gold's doing. Will money rotate out the markets completely into something else? Who knows, right? But the reality is here, this won't go up forever. But when we go back to that AI kind of argument and why Nvidia's done well, that chart is unbelievable. I've mentioned before in previous videos the likes of Rolls-Royce and how big they've grown recently, right? But the one thing I want to talk about, I want to pivot a little bit to stock picking because I think this is going to get very, very important. There's more and more tools around AI, around stock picking, but when you look at the next sector of this video, it's about the mania and why it doesn't feel right. But if the mania is to come, right, you're going to find that individual stocks will pop off. There's a platform here on investing.com. There's a link below to this if you're interested. And it uses a lot of AI sort of stuff, but the returns are actually relatively good. I've been watching it for a while now. This is a tech one, for example, Tech Titans. And obviously I've talked about tech quite a lot in this video. But the overall situation is they've all done very well. Even the ones that have been removed. So basically the second of every month, they will add new stocks. And these are the ones that are now live. You've got all these ones here. Again, not financial advice. Do your own research and stuff. But there's a lot of research here in terms of why they believe in their AI system and their tools based on the facts and the data and the numbers will do well. Overall, you can see how individual stocks here have done fantastically well. Some not so. Some have. Obviously, Adobe's done really bad. Even Workday's not done very well. But some have. It's all about balancing the averages. But the reality is here, when we talk about stuff like this, it's not about chasing headlines. It's about chasing what could look very good in terms of momentum overall. And I've talked about Stockopedia. I've talked about all kinds of different tools before. But the thing is, right, people forget this. When it comes to the mania stage, we're going to talk about the mania. It's interesting because whenever the mania does turn up, or even when we look at charts like that, they now want to buy it. And I've seen people, certainly on my other YouTube channel with the crypto side of it, want to buy something that's already popped off like a rocket. You need to get them before they run. And this is what's very, very important. And obviously, yes, leverage certain tools, do your own research, look at certain things. But the reality is, don't copy what you see on the screen if something's popped off. Don't use, for example, a validation that I should invest in now the stock market because the S&P's at all-time high or the Nasdaq's at all-time high. That is not the way to do it. So let's talk about the mania side. So here's the strange thing, and I've talked about it a little bit. It doesn't feel mental. It doesn't feel like people are really selling their cat and their dog and bragging about stocks or quitting their jobs and retail people piling in. Think like, you know, the dot-com bubble and the meme coin stocks and all kinds of stuff like that in the past where people are doing all kinds just to make money. It doesn't feel like that. Even though my stock market portfolio is doing all right, it's doing okay. It's nothing crazy. But true tops usually come with euphoria, in my personal opinion. And not when there's caution. There's a lot of caution at the minute, but there's not real euphoria. There's not load of new YouTubers, for example. There's not loads of new things or celebrities pushing certain things. The lack of that right now suggests it might not be the final high, which is important to know. Markets are expensive, yes, but they are not euphoric. And as I say, look at gold. Look at how people are not really talking massively about that at any point, right? And that's where it's very, very interesting. And obviously, yes, you can look at the stock market portfolio. You can look at all the index funds. And ultimately, what will I do? I don't know what I will do if we double in price from the next, 4 or 5 years. Who knows? They could well be a crash around the corner. There could well be also a recession around the corner. We just don't know. But ultimately, it's not so much play what you kind of hope or think. You got to play what you see, physically see. If you start seeing the warning signs, yes. But right now, I don't see the warning signs. There's a lot of fear mongering that, oh, here we go. But realistically, you got to look at the reality here. It's a healthy, trending, strong market with strong earning potential still. And for me, true euphoria will be easy, will be up only. Stocks popping off, big, massive runs and continued runs without many corrections, and then the music will eventually stop. That's where it gets worrying, because you'll start seeing the retail come in. But the charts are bullish, as I say. From a fundamental perspective, profits are strong, as I say. Valuations are high. But for me, that means staying invested, managing your risk, and keeping tools on the ground regarding obviously TA and information, and even simple AI stock screening will help you remove some of the emotions. But at the end of the day, if you've been in this market for a long time, you should be massively up anyways to even worry about the little dips in the road. Let me know in the comments, do you still think it's very, very bullish, or if you are still waiting for the mania moment? Because I still believe there's a lot of people not invested in this market, and they probably will randomly just show up out of nowhere. Anyways, if you enjoy this stuff, leave a like, and more importantly, watch this playlist. Some beginner gubbins.